Good morning. Happy 2023, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. I am so happy to see you. I'm so grateful that we have yet another year and yet another opportunity in order for us to become the best versions of ourselves in life and in business. I am your host, Melissa P. Dunn, CEO of MD Marketing Network and founder of this Dunn Wisdom movement. I absolutely adore introducing you to women who are getting it done, not only in life, but also in business and in their communities. And it is my commitment to continue to do so in 2023. Now, I am really lucky and grateful to have the opportunity to introduce you to our very first guest of 2023. She is one of my favorite people. I actually met her on a cruise, okay? And I know we're going to tell you all about it. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show for the very first time, Dr. Andrea Best. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Listen, thank you for getting up at 5:30 in the morning in California.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, Andrea, it is so good to see you. Now, could you just share with us some basic information about your professional background? And then we're going to do a deep dive into your career journey.
Okay, excellent. I'm an integrative medicine physician, and I've been in practice for about 25 years. When I came through medical school and residency after training in chemistry and nutrition, there wasn't really an integrative medicine residency. So I did a number of different training programs: internal medicine, pediatrics, adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, Eastern medicine, mixed it with my nutrition, and started my private practice, the Center for Integrative Medicine, in 2005. And since then, I've traveled around the world just meeting with healers and going to workshops, conducting workshops, sharing what I know, and learning, continuing to learn along the way. So at this time, I do workshops, I do wellness retreats, and I say health and wellness retreats because it's where Eastern and Western medicine, or where global medicine sort of come together.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit different from I think some of the other relaxation retreats. Though I have one that's pure relaxation coming up in Miraval, Tucson, in April. For the most part, there's a nutrition, a health and wellness component where even before we arrive at the destination, I'm going over people's labs, going over their medical charts, and really addressing any medical questions, any concerns, and then preparing for the retreat and the questions or whatever they're wanting solutions to at that retreat.
Yeah, so I'm really fascinated by how you kind of create a total mind-body experience in your practice.
Yes.
So I do want to talk a little bit about that because it's a new year, and honey, everybody has health and wellness on their bucket list for 2023. I'm sure of it. But before we go there, I want to say hi to my co-hosts. You guys, please do say hello in the chat. Hi, Miss Joy. Happy New Year to you. Good morning. Blessings. I'm so happy to see you. If you guys have any questions, if you're joining us live, remember you are my co-host. So please type in your questions and we will have the conversation together. So, Andrea.
Yes.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a doctor?
No. As a child, I was interested in so many different things. I'm old enough to remember the Encyclopedia Man coming through.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my parents would buy that set for me every year, like the updated set, because I just loved it. I was into so many different things, but I think it was there, but also some other experiences growing up. I grew up in Martinsville, Virginia. That's Southwest Virginia. And I was born, well, we'll leave that. But anyway, I grew up seeing a lot of anxiety. and a lot of alcoholism, like in the broader community. I had uncles who went to Vietnam and came back. I had my dad and uncles and aunts who all experienced Jim Crow and the not just the issues that we deal with today, but the more overt evil, which is racism, and the health impact of that. I saw on a daily basis. I saw men who were functional alcoholics, who took care of their families, but who relied on alcohol just to deal. And I saw women who were some of the most beautiful, classiest, elegant Black women on the planet, but who were anxious and talking about nerve pills, right? So I grew up questioning how this could happen and what I could do in the world that would like affect some type of real change. So when I went to undergrad, I double majored in chemistry and nutrition, thinking, okay, I would find it in research or the EPA where I worked, but no, that wasn't the case. I went to medical school, loved every specialty, but thought, okay, how do I take all of this? And family medicine was close, psychiatry was close, everything was close, but nothing was total. And then I kept doing new training programs and realizing, okay, I still don't have enough knowledge and information yet. It's still not coming together. Traditional Western medicine is not enough, but supplements and that's not enough when you have these particular issues. And oh my goodness, when you do these medicines together, what happens? And so I realized this anxiety thing was bigger. And no matter which specialty I was training in, anxiety was the number one thing that was coming through every single chart. It didn't matter what the diagnosis was, there was also anxiety. It did not matter. So I knew psychiatry was not the end of it. So even after I did internal medicine and peds and the psychiatry, I knew I had to continue training. So it has been this desire to really help people to feel better, function better, and to get a handle on and understand what's really going on, not just at a level, organic level in the cells and tissues of the body, but energetically and spiritually, how to address these issues as well.
So what are you seeing in your practice? Like what are some of the major issues that folks are dealing with right now?
So many of the referrals I'm receiving are from other physicians where patients may have started with a single symptom or two symptoms, and they saw the specialist, and this person added this medication, thought it was this, added this medicine, then they went here, and then this doc added this medicine, didn't communicate with that person. Then they did this, they took this herb or supplement, not realizing that is going to interact with this. And then they went here because the problem was progressing. So they stopped this medicine on their own. So then they started doing this. So most of the cases I'm seeing, I am basically reviewing the chart, the labs, I'm obtaining all of the records from all of the different doctors and determining the story, where it began, how this happened, how this happened, how this happened, and then how to figure out which medicines need to be removed first, how to do it safely, how to get it down to here, and what is the underlying issue. What was the initial underlying issue? What are the issues that now need to be addressed in order to clear this up and get the person to feeling better and functioning better? But every single case has a component of anxiety.
Okay. And so your approach, what I'm hearing you say is that your approach is, obviously using Western medicine, but also kind of integrating it with Eastern medicine, and whatever you do, that there's a spiritual body, mind, soul type of connection, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you help, how do you help with anxiety? Like what can people do to kind of get past that or get through that?
So I can tell you some things in general, but each person is individual. And
Right.
so each case, the program or whatever our device is uniquely constructed for that person.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're coming through the pandemic. We're coming through some race issues in this country that have always been there, but our bodies have taken a huge toll recently. And I don't think there's a person on the planet who has not experienced what's called adrenal fatigue syndrome. So the adrenals are the two organs that sit on your kidneys and your back, and they push out cortisol stress hormone. And you may wonder, well, why would God, the creator, create us with cortisol stress hormone? Well, because stress hormone, cortisol, that surge in the morning, like right about now, is natural and normal. And it's what transitions the body from rest and reset, pure relaxation, sleep, going through those stages of sleep each night, to all organ systems working at this level and what's necessary over the day. So it sort of jump starts things. Well, the problem with stress and the pandemic and chronic issues and the issues in our marriages and our stress with our kids and our stress with our work and with our bodies when we become sick, all of the adrenals are pushing out all that cortisol stress and they get tired. So what develops is adrenal fatigue syndrome, which the symptoms, it looks like if you took depression, anxiety, chronic fatigue syndrome, ADD, as well as menopause or PMS, or for men, extremely low testosterone. You mix that all together, and now you have adrenal fatigue syndrome. And so when people come in with anxiety and they're asking for a Prozac or a Zoloft or a Valium or a Xanax, which I don't prescribe, the benzos, because they cause so much cognitive distortion and issues with weight and metabolism and further disrupt your hormones and of course they're addictive. And at a certain point you're tolerant and then they don't work and you have this mess. But Prozac and Zoloft also may not be the right course of action, though those medicines work well in certain situations along with other non-chemical modalities. In most cases, if you address the anxiety with appropriate adaptogens, like a morning B complex plus ashwagandha plus green tea, and then another dose of ashwagandha somewhere between 11:30 and noon.
Mm-hmm.
And if sleep is disrupted, using some sort of, whether it's melatonin at night with magnesium, if a sleep hygiene program doesn't work. So starting with the non-chemical and then layering on the safest modalities. And with adrenal fatigue, if you give like a Prozac or a Zoloft, it's not going to work at the level of the brain. And in terms of causing those receptors to release the serotonin and prevent the receptor from grabbing it back up. So then the serotonin can get to where it needs to go to work. But guess what? Our gut produces significant serotonin. So if you balance the good and bad bacteria in the gut with an excellent probiotic, then you can naturally increase serotonin levels. If you decrease the coffee in your life, which is sometimes the most challenging thing for people, but beginning to do more green tea and using the adaptogens like the ashwagandha, or for some licorice, some Asian green teas can work. And you can actually begin to see naturally the improvement in all of the symptoms in this combination of adrenal fatigue syndrome. So I always try to get a sense of the severity of the symptoms, mild to
Mm-hmm.
moderate to severe, and determining, okay, what intervention do I have to do immediately? If you're over here severe, then likely I'm going to have to get the prescription pad. But in most cases, that's not actually what is necessary.
So if I'm at home and I am like, how do you know if your anxiety is at the level that you do need to go see a doctor best?
Okay. So you may not need to see me, but if there's some things that have been going on in your life for some time,
Mm-hmm.
if there's some trauma in your past, if there are some big questions that you've been avoiding, if there's some things in your marriage, some things in your health, some things in your career, you may not need to see me, but it might be the time to talk to someone. And that may be a well trained, qualified therapist. That
Mm-hmm.
may be maybe your anxiety is because you're in a field that you know is not your sweet spot. It's not what you
Mm,
came to the planet to do. Or you're in a relationship and on a deep level, intuition has been knocking and saying, "This is not it. I have more for you. I desire you to be in a loving relationship." The creator may be knocking, saying, "I have you here. We agreed before you came here that you would come to the planet to do this and to be in joy, and you're not in that right now. So we're not going to feel great when we are not doing our purpose on the planet. We're doing something else. If we're in a relationship that is not honoring to us and it's not joy feeling, it's not honoring to the other person. If there are some things that we need to work on. So if you're in a space where you're able to say, okay, creator, source, universe, whatever you call it, right?
mm-hmm.
How am I being? How am I being? I'm open and available and willing right now to,
Yes.
to see how I am being. I'm open to love. I'm open to the largest purpose you have for me here. I'm open to correction and conviction, and I recognize that that harsh sounding voice is not of you. That is
Yes.
a program that was played that says I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, and I'm alone, and it's not real or true.
Mm-hmm.
I was born worthy and enough, more than enough, and deserving. And I came here to do something amazing and to be in great joy on the way. So, if that nagging feeling is that, that's calling you to do something, that's you don't want to come see me. You don't want to see a doctor, anybody. You're right. You want to start, well, initially, you want to start with getting quiet. You want to start with practicing meditation and practicing getting quiet, fighting the noise inside, outside, so that you can hear that and see that next lighted step. So
That's it. That's
that's
it.
like outside of, so whether it is a pill or a doctor or this program or this retreat or this, my it never begins outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
Why before my retreats or my workshops, it is all about this internal work. It's nutrition stuff to help clear some things and to get rid of like fungus and yeast and those things that can cloud the mind and the body. But it really is guiding people to how to tap in, how to clear space enough to hear internally the answers.
That's it. And we all have that. We all have that internal guide. We all have um that person, that spirit, that essence inside of ourselves. We know when things are off, right? We
Yes.
know it. We know it. And I think that's such a powerful point when you talk about that could lead to somehow feeling anxious.
Yes.
And I really do believe that it really starts with being still enough to hear God's voice or source, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
and asking powerful questions that will get you the next right answer, that will guide you in the next step.
Yes.
And, I think that's such a powerful point, Dr. Best, as people are right now in the new year and they're thinking about what the rest of their year is going to look like, right? Based on what you just said, it sounds like the first step really is for you to create space to sit with yourself, not necessarily just make a list of goals, but create space to sit with yourself to ask, like, where am I now? What is coming forth? What is trying to emerge through me into the world?
Right. Especially if those goals you're writing down are the same ones that you wrote down January 22.
That part.
January 2021, January 2019, and no harm, no foul, and no judgment and no blaming, none of that. Like it's not beating up on ourselves.
Absolutely.
It is because we want to get rid of that condemning voice that beats up on us. We want to get rid of that that voice that's ours or parents or societies, governments, or the religion that we came up in or whatever. So we don't want to do it that way. We want to recognize that we are loved and we're deserving, and there's nothing we have to do to prove it or to deserve it.
That's it.
It's completely ours. So
that's it.
You can move peacefully into, okay, I didn't achieve that goal 2 years ago, a year ago. What is that about? Do I really desire to do that? Is that my sweet spot? Is that what I came here to do? Why do I want that? What's the underlying thing? How do I get to what I came here to do? What lights me up? What was I doing that? Am I wanting to do that out of ego? Ego meaning I am my title. I am doctor. I am where I live. I am the car I drive. I am the schools I went to. I am this, and that's not true, right? So sometimes there are a lot of physicians who went into the field to fill up something or to prove attorneys or judges or actors or actresses or whomever we go and we do things to prove we're enough, prove I'm worthy, prove I'm deserving, prove I am, what have you. Never, ever, ever feels that.
Nope.
So you can get multiple millions or billions. You can get success and be the most amazing artist, the surgeon to the stars, the this to this, to this to this. And I will tell you, it will not feel that.
That's it. You've got to get still. And you're the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can do it. Period. Yeah.
And you can. You're equipped with it. So people think that, that some people have something that other people don't have. We all have the power to do this. And now on the internet, there's so many, Melissa, there's so many guided meditations. There are so many the binaural hertz sounds videos. And also you can, for some people, quiet comes when they're swimming.
That's it. Or just go out for a walk.
Yes.
Go out for a walk. I love, one of the things that I enjoy doing is just taking off my shoes and just walking in the grass, curling my toes around. And, I love to even touch the trees and just to say thank you, because just the energy of gratitude kind of moves negative energy as well.
Absolutely.
Really powerful.
Absolutely. Appreciation for this, appreciation for that, having that go-to of no matter what. Oh, okay, there's so much to appreciate. I'm going to appreciate if I'm going through a health issue. Oh my goodness, I appreciate how my hands feel right now. I appreciate how my legs feel right. I appreciate
Yes.
being able to walk. I appreciate that I'm able to drive and do the things I need to do. I appreciate I still get to do this. I get to do this. I get to do this. I'm so appreciative that I'm still here in the land of living. Okay.
That's it.
I'm still here. I haven't transitioned there. So I still get to taste food. I still
Yes,
get to
yes, yes,
feel a
yes,
physical
yes.
hug. I still get to a physical kiss. I still get to these human like things that I get to do before I transition back to pure spirit being. I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can
Yes,
today.
right now in this space, in this time. And what I love about how you practice medicine, Dr. Best, is that you take all of that into consideration. I find sometimes, very rarely have I met physicians that I can go in and when I'm talking about, like, for example, I currently am diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, right? And I have an endocrinologist that I go to on occasion. And so, she does my A1C and we have conversations about my diet and my sleep. But we've never had a conversation about my spiritual journey. We've never had a conversation about what's causing me stress or anxiety or any of that, right? In my experience, it's usually when you speak with a physician, it's very much separate. I have yet to meet a physician other than you that have that conversation and take into consideration that spirit and soul is an important part of your overall well-being. So I think it's super powerful that that's how you practice medicine.
Thank you. Well, I will say, big insurance companies and big pharma don't care about your
Sure.
religion and spiritual journey.
They sure don't.
Your physician, many physicians go into this with a heart of wanting to really help and not have people on medications. Many physicians went into this wanting and desiring something that they could do that would actually cure diabetes, cure cancer, cure these things. However, we have so many medicines and it's like a big system, a thing that promotes, unfortunately, sickness and does not focus on and seeing people well and is not focused on preventing or curing. So it's like one medicine, and then that makes multiple millions. This whole condition here, billions are made from people continuing to be sick. So we cannot expect them to change. We cannot expect that system to change. We change. We
Yeah.
individuals change. We advocate for our health. So my patients, the reason why I can do it is because I have more than 15 minutes. If I work for instance, a company consulted with me and they asked me to come on board. They liked this wellness integrative model and they wanted me to provide this for their patients under this umbrella. Right. So we had all these talks, this contract. I was like, this is great. This is what we've been wanting for a large medical beast to say, this is important. And we're going to hire a doctor and pay her and allow her the time to do this. And it's as if it was just about branding and marketing. They wanted my face on their, and they wanted me to do what I do in 20 minutes and do it this way and load me up with patients and do basically, it was not in integrity. It wasn't. And I have no interest in being a part of something that is not in integrity or authentic. I don't have time for that. So
yes.
I was like, and I don't need the contract. There are plenty of other clients, whatever.
Because guess who's the source of your abundance? Thank you.
Right.
That part.
Right. And I came here to do something different.
Yes.
I'm supposed to fit into that. it's supposed to expand that, implode that. So my patients who see me, I'm not on their insurance panel. However, because I do complete like a super receipt that has the ICD-10 coding or whatever, and they can get reimbursed and what have you. And because I can see them in fewer visits, and because we can get rid of a lot of this medicine, and because we get to the root of the issue, or they get to the root of the issue, I just assist in guiding that. Or in treatment less, they're in doctor's offices less.
I love it. I love it. And then what I like
about with me.
And what I love too is that you actually practice telemedicine.
Yes.
So, so if someone who's watching right now, most of my audience is in South Florida, if they would like to reach out to you for a consult, how would they connect with you?
So they can go to my website.
What is it? I'm going to put it in the chat.
Okay. www.I is an igloo, M as in Mary, DRBEST.com. www.imdrbest.com.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So that's one way. And if you're out of state, most people who are out of state are connecting with me for the virtual workshops and the retreats, not so much the one-on-one doctor-patient relationship, just because I'm not licensed there in Florida.
Gotcha. Oh, so I just realized I typed it wrong. It's imdrbest.com, right?
Right. Or they could just look up on Dr. Andrea Carter Best.
All right. There you go. That
medicine.
Disregard the first post, y'all. I typed it wrong. So it's imdrbest.com. I love your name. And I love you. We didn't get a chance to tell the story about how we met, but that's a whole other conversation, right?
Yes. Yes. I love it. There are no accidents.
No accidents at all. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation this morning. Before we sign off, if you could offer perhaps just one final word of wisdom for women as they're going into 2023.
You are not alone. Where you go, Creator goes. So if you can just each moment say, I'm not alone in dealing with this issue. I'm not alone going into this new workplace. I'm not alone going into this new relationship. I'm not alone in parenting my children. I'm not alone in addressing this health concern. I'm not alone. I have everything I need.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrea. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for this very first 2023 episode of the Dunn Wisdom Morning Show. I pray that 2023 is your best year so far. Remember, you are not alone, as Dr. Best said, and certainly all of the tools that you need in order for you to make your dreams happen in 2023, you already have them. It's already done. It's already inside of you. So my encouragement for you, my invitation for you is to get still enough to hear God's voice and ask powerful questions so that you could be inspired with your next step, right? You don't need to know from A to Z. You just need to know plan A, like the next step for you to take. So remember, you are amazing. I love you. Please remember to be kind and loving to yourself today, because you, my dear, you absolutely deserve it. Be well, everyone. See you.